Advocacy Center, Ghana, has been organizing a symposium on the theme, which is building a digital world consumers can trust. This afternoon, I do have the General Secretary, Mukaila Abdullahi, of the Consumer Advocacy Center to tell us a lot more about the theme and the focus for this year. Good afternoon, Mukaila. And
good afternoon, Wendy. How are you?
Very well, thank you. Now, the theme for this year is building a digital world consumers can trust.
Yes,
here in our country, Ghana, do consumers even understand that they have rights online?
Thank you very much. The Consumer Advocacy Center is the only consumer advocacy organization in Ghana that is part of the Consumer International. And what we do simply has to do is sensitize consumers on their rights and responsibilities. This year's theme is about building consumers' trust in digital services. And we think that as a country, we are planning progressively towards a cashless economy, which hinges on digital services. Now, if you have your citizens who have no confidence on the integrity or the security of the digital services or systems, it means that that vision of becoming a cashless economy would not be achieved.
But your organization, for instance, has done some form of research.
Yes.
And you have some background knowledge on consumer rights. Do Ghanaians even understand that they have rights online?
Okay, Ghanaians are supposed to know that as citizens, you have rights and responsibilities, even as consumer. You have the right to be informed, you have the right to be educated, you have the right to be protected, but this right also comes with responsibilities when it has to do with digital services. Because any services that is rendered, they will provide with detailed information, which you have to agree before the service is rendered to you. But as Ghanaians, how many of us read into details anytime we patronize such digital services? Sometimes when you are caught up, then they will refer you to clauses that you've checked once you are trying to ascertain the digital services. So we have responsibility as consumers to read into details before we agree to enjoy any services. But however, as consumers, there's also need for protection from government. We need a national policy regulation or a national policy law that would seek to address consumers' redress. Last year, we advocated for such. We spearheaded the development of the national protection policy for consumers in this country. But as at now, we don't know when the government is going to facilitate the processes for that to be passed into a law.
For instance, from Consumer International, that's for 2015, 72% of people do not know what information companies collect about them online, and they don't know what exactly these information are used for. As we await what you just mentioned about that legislation, what do we do? And as an organization, what are you doing? Yes, you've organized a symposium and all that, but what's the way forward aside?
Okay. We have to continue from the Consumer Advocacy Center sensitizing people about this rights and responsibility when it comes to digital services. But we also have the responsibility to check for the accuracy of information that we received. You know, we do send and receive unsolicited messages to people via social media without verifying the source to know whether it is true or not. So that is where myself and you as consumers, we have a responsibility to check to be sure that the information we're peddling around or receiving is actually correct and appropriate and can be used to inform decisions.
Thank you very much. I have been speaking to Mukaila Abdullahi. He's the General Secretary, Consumer Advocacy Center, and we're looking at the World Consumer Rights Day for this year, and it is on the theme building a digital world consumers can trust. And that'll be all for now. Over to you, Issy.